Okay, so I got a commission to make a battle axe a few weeks ago. Just now getting around to it, of course. But wasn't quite sure how I was going to go about it because we wanted a not double, but a large two-handed axe, and I wasn't quite sure how to make something that big. So, especially with the stuff I have available at the moment, I can make smaller stuff, but bigger stuff can be a bit iffy. However, I think I came up with something when I was thinking about Zenith Productions made an axe out of a chunk of leaf spring, of course, and a chunk of leaf spring and a piece of rebar. And I was thinking about that and if I were to take that concept and apply it to this, I think I could do it. But instead of using rebar, I was going to do hickory, but unfortunately I couldn't get a hold of two pieces, so a chunk of oak is going to be what I'm going to use. It should be strong enough, and since I doubt this is going to be used for any actual combat, it should work just fine. So what I'm basically going to do is take this chunk of leaf spring here, heat it up in the anvil, take one end, and slap it repeatedly over the horn. Not a piece of the anvil, that's stupid. A piece of the leaf spring, and then slap it over the horn of the anvil. Sorry, it's been a long day. It hasn't, but you get the idea. And put a hook in it, cut off what I need, and then kind of forge it from there. I was originally going to cut it and then have it riveted in place, but I think instead of doing that, I'm going to actually cut a slit down the piece of wood and insert it that way, and then rivet it in place, and then put a piece of metal looped over the top, have it riveted going down, kind of like they used to do pole arms. I'm not 100% certain how well that's going to work, to be honest, but it's what I've got at the moment. If not, the backup of just riveting the blade on like I did with the lock bar, if you've seen that video. So, I guess I'm going to quit talking and just see what I can do. So since I've done a little bit, I welded on the back spike and drilled some holes. I always drill the holes off camera because the lighting where my drill is terrible and I can never pick up anything worthwhile. But spike is welded on. I just use a MIG welder because it's kind of the best I got for something like this. And it's a pretty decent one, and this is yet to be heat treated or anything, so it should be fine. It's a little bent though, so I'm gonna have to fix that with a forge. But from there, I'm basically going to grind this to shape a little bit. Not too much, because I want to leave it as rough as I can, but there are a few spots that need ground out. And then put an edge on it. What I'm probably... Shit. Sorry about that. What I'm probably going to do is just grind like a secondary bevel along here, similar like what an axe would have. Since this is already fairly thin, probably not quite for a battle axe, but for what this is going to be going for, it's a little tougher, it's probably going to be fine. And then just grind that in. So that way it stays as rough as it can and then just has a nice cutting edge. Or more of a chopping edge, I think. So, then I'm just going to heat treat and have to make the handle. And that's going to be a bit. Now that I have the axe head complete, finally, it's a lot more challenging than I wanted it to be, or thought it was going to be, but here we are. That's finally done. Might have a little bit of cleanup and just a bit of sharpening to do, but other than that, we're good. Now for the part that I thought was going to be mostly easy, but it's turning out to not be. The handle. So originally I was going to use my dad's table saw, because my radial arm saw doesn't really cut lengthwise very well. Because it was a piece of 4x4 hickory. Not 4x4, that'd be huge. A piece of a 2x2 hickory. And it's not hickory, it's oak. Sorry, I don't know where my mind's at today. Yeah, 2x2 oak. And was going to be hickory, but that didn't work out. So I was going to cut it down. Forgot to get it when I was there. So I'm like, well, I should be able to get it with my radial arm saw and just, it'll work. Yeah, long story short, it did not. So I ended up with some weird cuts that didn't work very well, and yeah, now I'm just gonna have to try and get it done the way I want it to. I ended up using a machete for some of the shaping, and now I'm basically just gonna take the angle grinder with a sanding disc and just sand on it until it looks good. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how this is gonna go.
juicy.